Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about Inulin. So first of all, shout out to Dee for suggesting this nutrition nugget. Now, you've probably seen Inulin in the ingredients list of packaged foods, and often people can't pronounce it. So tick that box. In just a few seconds now, you're already smarter. Just kidding, but kind of. Okay, so Inulin is a type of fiber that naturally is found in certain plants. And I think, okay, my geeky side, of course, you guys know this, right? If you listen all the time. I love the science side, the nerdy side. So plants actually create inulin and use it for their own energy. In the human body, it's a soluble fiber. So it actually doesn't absorb in the small intestine, but then reaches the colon, which is the large intestine. It's then fermented by bacteria and acts as a prebiotic. So it's the food for the gut bacteria that we want. Now, interesting, it's also found in like 36,000 different plant species. I know. It's like, who knew? So here are some of the ones that I think some you'll probably be familiar with. So there's asparagus, Jerusalem artichokes, bananas, burdock root, chicory, which is sometimes used in salads, by the way, dandelion root, garlic, leeks, onions. And I'm going back to that chicory thing because when it's used as a supplement or as an ingredient in packaged foods, it's typically from chicory root that they're using it. And fun facts you didn't need to know, but I think are interesting. So Egyptians actually used chicory as medicine. So that might tell you something about its impact. We'll come back to that in a second, but it's something we also might want to have our antenna up about because remember that I mentioned it's in a lot of packaged foods. So the way that happens is they take the chicory and soak it in hot water. And when it's combined with water in specific proportions and methods and the way that food manufacturers do, it can mimic the texture of fat in food. So you'll see it used as a replacement for fat in candy bar and yogurt and cheese, even ice cream I've seen it in. So any of the foods, not any, but common foods that are lower in fat and higher in fiber, they're using inulin. Now, this doesn't mean that foods that inherently use inulin are a quality choice. And it also doesn't necessarily mean that we want to avoid these foods. It's more of an awareness piece so that we can understand what we're looking at when we're reading those nutrition facts. And most of the health impact of inulin, we know because we talk about fiber all the time, right? We know it's a prebiotic, the food for the healthy gut bugs. We know it can support digestive health and regular bowel movements. It can support blood sugar balance and fat metabolism. It can help create feelings of satiety or fullness and can even offer some mood support. So looking at some of the research, and I will say there's limited research on inulin specifically, but I'll share a bit of what I was able to find. So there are some studies that have shown inulin can help repair the gut microbiome, as we talked about with its prebiotic function. And we've also talked about how a damaged microbiome is associated with health conditions, right? So type 2 diabetes, gastrointestinal diseases, obesity, right? Certain types of cancers, we know. So fiber is incredibly powerful. And then inulin as a kind of fiber, connects to all of that. There's research showing that consuming some prebiotics like inulin have an inverse relationship with colon cancer, which tracks, if you remember our episode, well, we did a couple episodes on poop, but then also America's fiber problem. We talked about that. And then, I mentioned mood a minute ago. We've also talked about the connection between food and mood in our episode, Good Food Equals Good Mood. That was in March of 2021. But actually, more recent research, there was a study published in 2023 on prebiotics, including inulin, saying that they may help reduce the severity of depression and can potentially help prevent it. There was a 2021 study that saw improved mood in those with obesity thanks to inulin. But the caveat on that one was that it was kind of dependent on the specific like microbial makeup in their gut as to what like certain bacteria, the presence of certain bacteria in their gut depended on whether or not the inulin was helpful. With regard to blood sugar, we know fiber slows digestion and then absorption of carbohydrates, right? Which supports healthy blood sugar levels. A study published in 2019 showed inulin supplements may improve insulin resistance in people with type 2 diabetes and obesity. And so the research really suggests that properties, because of this satiety support, because of the blood sugar support, that inulin may be support for weight management as well. Now, like I said before, we really need more research on all of this with regard to inulin specifically, but we do know the impact of fiber. And I recommend focusing on food sources like the plants which naturally have inulin because in the research, doses are really unclear, right? And so when we get into the supplementation side with something like this, we just need more information. You'll find doses, some recommendations may depend on like the supplement manufacturer even. And then of course we know that the quality of ingredients is also really important. So some brands will tell you 3 grams a day is what you want. There was a 2020 study showing 12 grams a day could support people with IBS and with constipation. And then another study showed a dose of 10 to 20 grams was needed, but then it's possible at 30 grams that you could have some adverse effects. So given this range and understanding fiber and understanding the human body, I have a couple conclusions. One, the dose you need likely depends on what you're trying to address. 2, as with anything else high in fiber, go low and slow. Work your way up gradually to more. And I don't recommend, like also on this low and slow front. So like I don't recommend, the typical American gets like 9 grams of fiber per day. In an ideal world, we want upwards, over 25-ish. But I don't recommend going 9 to 30 overnight. You're likely going to have some gastrointestinal upset. The last thing is variety is our friend. So rather than going all in on inulin with a supplement, if we simply choose foods that inulin naturally occurs in and eat a variety of fruits and vegetables, we will get the fiber we're looking for and have the benefits of the inulin. By the way, you'll know if you've had too much because you're going to end up with like loose stool, some gas, bloating, cramping, general gastric upset, you'll know, right? So like I said, also with those supplements, again, it's typically from the chicory. Be careful, by the way, because it comes from chicory, which is in the same family as like ragweed. If you have an allergy to like marigolds and daisies and any of those ragweeds, be careful with the chicory. All right. I think all in, I'm generally a fan of inulin. It's fascinating to me, how it can be used in a packaged food instead of fat. So take a look at those labels. Again, things that are high in fiber, low or no fat foods, you're probably going to see some inulin in there. And then, of course, go for the veggies like onions, asparagus, artichokes, garlic, bananas, right, that naturally have inulin. Jess, any questions or anything to add?
No, I think I'm just as curious as you are now because I also, while I love numbers, I'm a science geek myself. So I can't wait to read more of the research behind it and, get to know more. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yay. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I am at Jen Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideoffries.com. Choose your platform wherever is convenient for you. Send a message. I love nothing more than hearing from you. So please, send a message with your ideas, your questions, your takeaways. And of course, that's the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Jess, thanks again for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And of course, friends, if you are not already a member, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideoffries to show your support for this podcast, this community, and your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the garlic lemon chicken. And in addition to your complimentary savings report, that's a $250 value, you're going to get 30-minute review with Jess to go over that savings report. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.